In a surprising twist in global defense markets, South Korea has emerged as a formidable contender to supply Canada's military with advanced weaponry, potentially challenging the United States' long-standing dominance as Ottawa's primary arms provider. On May 5, 2025, the Canadian Broadcasting Corporation, CBC, reported that South Korean manufacturers, led by industry giants like Hanwha Defense and Hyundai Heavy Industries, have tabled a proposal worth between $20 billion and $24 billion to modernize Canada's depleted armed forces. The offer includes everything from cutting-edge artillery to state-of-the-art submarines, signaling Seoul's ambition to forge a long-term partnership with Ottawa. This move comes as Canada re-evaluates its reliance on U.S. weapons amid strained relations with Washington following President Donald Trump's return to office, raising questions about the future of North American defense cooperation. The South Korean proposal, detailed in a special CBC report, is not a one-off deal but a strategic bid to reshape Canada's military capabilities. According to posts on X citing CBC, South Korea aims to supply Canada with advanced KSS-3 submarines, K-9 Thunder self-propelled howitzers, and modern armored vehicles, with maintenance to be conducted locally and full access to onboard technologies promised, a stark contrast to the restrictive terms often imposed by U.S. suppliers. The deal could span $20 billion to $24 billion, positioning South Korea as a serious alternative to American defense giants like Lockheed Martin and Boeing. For Canada, whose military has faced years of underfunding and equipment shortages, the offer represents a chance to rebuild its forces with cost-effective, battle-proven systems. For South Korea, it's a stepping stone to becoming a global defense powerhouse. The backdrop to this development is a noticeable chill in U.S.-Canada relations since Trump's inauguration in January 2025. His administration's imposition of tariffs on Canadian goods, coupled with provocative rhetoric suggesting Canada could become a 51st state, has eroded trust in Washington as a reliable partner. Ottawa's decision to reconsider U.S. weapons contracts, including the contentious F-35 fighter jet program, reflects growing concerns about overdependence on American technology, which often comes with political strings and lengthy delivery timelines. South Korea, by contrast, has built a reputation for rapid production and competitive pricing, as evidenced by its success in supplying Poland, Norway, and Australia with advanced weaponry in recent years. At the heart of South Korea's proposal is the K-9 Thunder, a 155mm self-propelled howitzer that has earned accolades for its performance in combat. Developed by Hanwha Defense, the K-9 is a 47-ton behemoth capable of firing 6 rounds per minute with a maximum range of 40 kilometers using standard ammunition or up to 60 kilometers with extended-range shells. Its automated fire control system and high mobility make it ideal for modern warfare, where rapid response and precision are paramount. The K-9's combat record in Ukraine, where Polish-supplied units have been used to devastating effect against Russian forces, underscores its reliability. Bloomberg reported in 2024 that Hanwha can assemble a K-9 in just 180 days, 2 to 3 times faster than its Western competitors, at a cost of approximately $3.5 million per unit, significantly less than the $6 million plus price tag of comparable U.S. systems like the M109A7 Paladin. The K-9's versatility is a key selling point for Canada, whose army relies on aging artillery systems that struggle to meet modern demands. With a crew of 5 and a top speed of 67 km per hour, the K-9 can maneuver across diverse terrains, from Arctic snowfields to rugged forests, aligning with Canada's need for equipment suited to its vast geography. Its advanced electronics, derived from South Korea's cutting-edge civilian tech sector, include a digital fire control system that integrates with NATO standard communication networks, ensuring compatibility with Canada's allies. Compared to the M109A7, which requires frequent maintenance and lacks the K-9's automation, the South Korean howitzer offers a compelling blend of affordability and performance. For context, Germany's PZH-2000, another competitor, boasts similar capabilities but costs nearly double at $7 million per unit and has faced supply chain delays. South Korea's offer extends beyond artillery to include the KSS-3 submarine, a diesel-electric vessel designed for stealth and endurance. Built by Hyundai Heavy Industries, the KSS-3 is a 3,700-ton submarine equipped with air-independent propulsion, AIP, allowing it to remain submerged for up to 3 weeks without surfacing, a critical feature for covert operations in contested waters like the Arctic, where Canada faces growing challenges from Russia and China. The KSS-3 carries 8 533mm torpedo tubes and can launch HYUN-M003 cruise missiles with a range of 1,500 kilometers, giving it offensive capabilities rivaling those of U.S. Virginia-class submarines. Unlike American submarines, which are nuclear-powered and cost upwards of $3 billion each, the KSS-3 is priced at around $1.2 billion, making it an attractive option for Canada's budget-conscious Navy. Posts on X from defense analysts highlight that South Korea's willingness to provide full access to the KSSE's technologies and conduct maintenance in Canada sets it apart from U.S. offers, which often limit technology transfers. The inclusion of armored vehicles, such as the K-21 infantry fighting vehicle, rounds out South Korea's proposal. The K-21, also produced by Hanfa, is a 26-ton platform armed with a 40mm autocannon and anti-tank missiles, capable of carrying 9 troops. Its composite armor and active protection system provide a robust defense against modern threats, while its amphibious capabilities suit Canada's diverse operational environments. Priced at approximately $4 million per unit, the K-21 is cheaper than the U.S. Bradley M2A4, which costs $5.5 million and relies on older technology. South Korea's ability to integrate civilian innovations, such as advanced sensors and electronics, into its military hardware gives the K-21 an edge in networked warfare, a priority for Canada as it seeks to modernize its forces. South Korea's rise as a defense exporter is a story of rapid transformation. A decade ago, the country was a minor player, overshadowed by the United States, Russia, and European powers. Today, it ranks among the world's top arms suppliers, with exports surging 140% to $17.3 billion in 2024, according to Bloomberg. Much of this growth stems from Hanfa's success in Europe, where Poland has ordered over 600 K9 howitzers and 1,000 K2 Black Panther tanks in deals worth more than $10 billion. These successes highlight South Korea's ability to deliver high-quality systems on time, a stark contrast to US and European manufacturers, who have struggled with production bottlenecks since the Ukraine conflict began. The war in Ukraine has been a proving ground for South Korean weaponry. While Seoul has avoided direct arms shipments to Kyiv to maintain diplomatic neutrality, its equipment has reached the battlefield through third parties like Poland. The K9's performance in Ukraine, where its mobility and firepower have outshone older Soviet-era systems, has bolstered South Korea's credibility. A 2022 report by Military Watch magazine noted that the K9's rapid deployment and low maintenance needs made it a game changer for Ukraine's artillery units, prompting interest from other NATO members. This track record resonates with Canada, which seeks reliable systems to replace its outdated M777 howitzers and aging Leopard 2 tanks. Historically, Canada's military procurement has been heavily tied to the United States, a relationship cemented by geographic proximity and shared NATO commitments. The 1988 Canada-US Defense Production Sharing Agreement facilitated billions in arms purchases, from F-18 jets to Javelin missiles, ensuring interoperability between the two nations' forces. However, this reliance has drawbacks. U.S. systems often come with restrictive end-user agreements, limiting Canada's ability to modify or maintain equipment independently. Delays in deliveries, such as the F-35 program's decades-long development, have further frustrated Ottawa. South Korea's offer, by contrast, emphasizes flexibility and sovereignty, appealing to a Canadian government wary of being tethered to Washington's political whims. The timing of South Korea's proposal aligns with broader geopolitical shifts. Trump's America First policies, including a 25% tariff on Canadian imports announced in February 2025, have strained bilateral ties. Canadian Prime Minister Mark Carney, in a March 2025 speech, emphasized the need to diversify defense partnerships to reduce reliance on any single supplier, a sentiment echoed by defense officials in Ottawa. South Korea's defense industry has capitalized on global demand for affordable, reliable weaponry. Unlike the United States, which holds a 40% share of the global arms market but struggles with high costs and complex supply chains, South Korea leverages its streamlined production and lower overheads. Hanwha's Changwon factory, described by Bloomberg as 6 football fields in size, can produce K9s at a rate unmatched by Western competitors. The company's ability to integrate commercial technologies, such as Samsung's electronics, into military systems enhances their performance and reduces costs. This model has drawn comparisons to Sweden, whose defense industry thrives on neutrality and innovation, positioning South Korea as a potential Sweden of Asia in the arms trade. For Canada, the strategic implications of partnering with South Korea are significant. The KSS-3 submarines could bolster Ottawa's presence in the Arctic, where melting ice has opened new shipping routes and heightened competition with Russia and China. The K9 howitzers and K-21 vehicles would enhance Canada's land forces, which have been stretched thin by peacekeeping missions and domestic emergencies like wildfires. Accepting South Korea's offer could also set a precedent for other U.S. allies. Poland's shift towards Seoul, despite its close ties to Washington, suggests that cost and reliability are increasingly trumping traditional alliances. If Canada follows suit, it could inspire nations like Australia or Norway to further diversify the defense suppliers. The global arms market is undergoing a quiet revolution, with emerging players like South Korea challenging the dominance of established powers. The United States remains the world's largest arms exporter, with $50 billion in annual sales, but its share is shrinking as countries like South Korea, Turkey, and Brazil gain ground. A 2018 report by The Economist noted that non-Western suppliers are appealing to buyers seeking alternatives to US and Russian systems, which often come with geopolitical baggage. South Korea's neutral stance and focus on customer needs have made it a preferred partner for nations wary of great power rivalries. Critics of the South Korean proposal argue that Canada risks disrupting its interoperability with US forces by adopting non-American systems. NATO standardization, a cornerstone of Allied operations, favors US-designed equipment, and integrating South Korean hardware could complicate joint missions. However, proponents counter that South Korea's systems are NATO-compatible, and the K9's widespread use in Europe proves its seamless integration. The real hurdle may be political. Accepting Seoul's offer could strain Canada's relationship with the US at a time when Trump's administration has shown little patience for perceived slights. From a broader perspective, South Korea's bid reflects a world where economic and military power is becoming more diffuse. The United States' ability to dictate terms to allies is waning, not because of military weakness but due to self-inflicted wounds like trade disputes and inconsistent foreign policy. Trump's tariffs and rhetoric may bolster domestic support, but they risk alienating partners like Canada, creating openings for agile competitors like South Korea. For Ottawa, the decision is not just about acquiring weapons but about asserting strategic autonomy in an increasingly multipolar world. Will Canada cling to its familiar partnership with the US, or will it embrace a bold new alliance with Seoul? The answer could redefine the balance of power in global defense for years to come.